Okay, so on this question, we're supposed to solve an equation. And notice here, let me bring it down here. We have x parenthesis x plus 2 equals 0. And we're trying to solve for x. We want to get x alone. This is kind of a funny thing. And now how are we supposed to? Well, think with me for a second. I want to appeal to you reasonably. What if I said to you, hey guys and gals, I'm thinking of two numbers in my head. Okay, and I multiply those two numbers and I get an answer of 0. What do you know about my numbers? How can I multiply two numbers, times two numbers together, and get an answer of 0? How could that be? What do you know about one of my numbers? Yeah, one of them's got to be 0, doesn't it? Because anything times 0 is 0, huh? So if I'm multiplying two numbers and the answer is coming out 0, you know what that means. It means either the first number could be 0 or the second number could be 0, right? Either one of them could be 0. If either one of them is 0, then they're going to multiply and the answer is going to be equal to 0. It's got to be. It couldn't be like 3 and 7. That wouldn't come out 0, would it? It could be like 3 times 0, or it could be like, 0 times 4 or whatever. And that would come out 0, right? One of them has to be 0. And that could be either one. The first one could be 0 or the second. Well, that's exactly what this is saying to you. You see, because the parentheses mean multiply, right? Now, I know it looks a little weird with x's, but really it's the same thing. When we look at an x, what is an x? It's just a number we don't currently know. And what is x plus 2? Just some other number we don't currently know. So this is really saying a number times a number, right? Parentheses means multiply, is equaling 0. How could that be? Well, we just reasoned it out, huh? That means that the first thing could be 0, right? Or the second thing could be 0. That's just reasonable, isn't it? If those two things are timesing, parentheses means multiply, to equal 0, then that means either the first one is 0 or the second one is 0. Either way, the answer is going to come out 0 if either one of those is 0. Now, this one's done. That's one of the answers. Now, the other one, how do we finish up the other one to get x alone? Right, this is an equal sign, and x is saying, I want to be alone. How do we get x alone there? We subtract 2 from both sides. No, this is gone, and then this is 0 minus 2, negative 2. That's the other answer. So the two answers are 0, and they want you to put a comma between them, I believe. Write your answer separated by commas. Yeah, exactly. 0, comma, negative. And you put the negative 2 first. I think right here it says listed. Yeah, it doesn't say what the order matters. So either way, 0, negative 2, or negative 2 comes 0. Those are the two answers. Either one of those answers would make this equation true. Hey, let's prove it. Let me go back up to the beginning. Let me show you. What if in the very beginning we plugged in x is 0? What if I put in a 0 for x there and a 0 for x there? What would that be? That would be 0 times 0 plus 2, which is what? 0 times 2, which is what? 0. It would work, wouldn't it? And not only that, also if x was negative 2, that'd be negative 2 for x here, negative 2 for x here. That'd be negative 2 times negative 2 plus 2. That'd be negative 2 times 0, and that'd be 0. You see how it's actually true? Those two numbers both have the ability to make that equation true, don't they? If x is 0, it's going to make it true, or if x is negative 2. Remember, x can only be one thing at a time. It's either 0 in both cases or negative 2 in both cases. Either way, it'll be true because it'll make one of those two 0, and then they'll times to be 0, and it makes the equation true. So whenever you have, this will come up a ton as you move into higher math and science, if you're going that way. All the time, this will come up. What will come up? What do I mean? Where you have like parentheses and then you have equal to 0. A ton, that'll come up. And so what do you always do? You go, well, the first one is 0 or the second one is 0. And then you just solve. If one of them doesn't have x alone already, then you just get x alone. Those are your answers. Because if two things multiply to be 0, either one of them could be 0 to make that true. So there we go.